Running a business, it's not easy. You're going to war every day. You get bad reviews, things might break down, supplier might not send items and all of that. A lot of things can happen. I go to the gym not to look muscular, not to look fit, but it's mostly to prepare my mind for the long hours in the kitchen. If your body is not strong, your mind will also break down. The only way for me to be good in what I'm doing is to take it as something like a pro athlete. When people think about hawker centre, it's supposed to be cheap and fast. Hawker food doesn't have to be cheap. It can be elevated in a certain way. It's a combination of doing everything handmade, plus the techniques that I've learned in the restaurants that make me stand out in the hawker scene. I feel that if you're paying $13 for a plate of Nasi Kerabu chicken, you need to set a certain standard. I'm bringing everything from what I've learned in the restaurant in here, trying to be consistent, trying to produce good food. At the end of the day, right, when the customers try my food, the customers will feel like, oh, okay, there's value. At the end of the day, I just want that.
Nasi Kerabu is one of the traditional dishes, usually from Kelantan. We have rice served with a side of ulam or slightly cooked vegetables, and it's also served with protein. Most commonly, this protein is chicken, and most popular would be ayam percik.
Chicken, having here?
Yeah.
Can. 8 minutes, 10 minutes, like that? Can. Then just look out for your number lah. Before I take the order, I will inform them there's a waiting time of like sometimes 8 minutes, sometimes depending on how many orders we have. For the chicken, I will pre-cook it for about 80 to 90%. When there's an order, I'll just finish it off on the charcoal grill. Glaze it a bit, give it a bit of smoke, char flavour. I cook my food upon ordering is to maintain the quality of the food. Because I don't want them to when they receive the food and then cold or not up to the standard that I want. Why I picked Nasi Kerabu is because I think it's something that is not commonly found in Singapore, especially in the hawker industry. So if I were to choose nasi lemak or something that's common, right, I have a lot of competitors. I don't think I want to compete in that space. 16. Okay, mix the rice and the salad first. Thank you. What's different about my dish is I'm using not the typical ingredients in Nasi Kerabu. So, for example, I'm using basmati rice instead of jasmine rice. People use purple cabbage in their kerabu salad. They use tauge, I use pomelo, pomegranate, lemongrass, ginger flower, wing bean, long bean.
When it comes to Asyraffie's rendition, he actually changes it up completely by adding very simple but pretty expensive ingredients, and that is pomegranate and pomelo. These two actually really gives the additional burst of flavors and a little bit of zing.
There is a real finesse to what he does. It takes some research, it takes a lot of practice, it takes a lot of experience to get there. By its nature, kerabu is a very complex dish. You have very, very finely chopped lemongrass and kaffir lime leaves and wing beans. The fact that he's doing it in a hawker format is amazing. It's just so much work. And very often when you're a hawker, you're just one person. What stood out for me, I think, is the percik sauce and the finesse of the cooking of the proteins. So for instance, with the lamb, he sous vides the lamb.
After marinating the lamb, I will vacuum seal it and cook it in this sous vide machine for 12 hours for 77 degrees. It tenderizes meat. So I've never heard of any hawker centres doing this. It's a very good way of cooking to get consistency in your food, especially running a hawker with the amount of volume that you're producing each day. Actually, I've been doing Nasi Kerabu for quite a while now. Yeah, it's a dish that I know inside out. I started it back in Arang, one of the main courses for my private dining back in Golden Mile lah. Terima kasih. Arang is my private dining brand name. It started back in 2020 or 2021. I was doing pop-ups once a month for 3 months. So after my pop-up, I wanted to find a permanent space for Arang. So that's why I decided to do a private dining space at Golden Mile Complex. So Golden Mile tenancy came to a close back in April 2023. That's where I stopped Arang. I didn't know what to do after that. I knew that I didn't want to have to work for someone at the end of the day. And I decided to move into a hawker centre. To do a whole shop fronted by Nasi Kerabu, it's a risk that I'm willing to take. When I first started, I think people were a bit skeptical about the dish. Nasi Kerabu is a bit more foreign in that sense, like people are not used to it. I think there's an element of people scared to try your food. It was a risk for me to start the shop with a very new and foreign dish. I've had this stall for about 6 months now, since first week of November. When I started the store, I didn't really have a concrete plan how I should run this store. More of like, we do first, things cock up, then start to adjust from there. We operate for 4 hours a day, so I only serve for lunch. Usually I sell out within 3 to 4 hours. Because of the volume that I can prepare in this kitchen, because of the space constraints that I'm having in this kitchen, I can only do so much in a day. I'm balancing between the long cooking process and storage. My kitchen can only tahan this volume because most of the things I'm doing fresh. Like my sauces and proteins are done every 2 days. I think on the first day I prepared 15 chicken, 4 kg of lamb, fish probably 5 hampers like that. That one also never finished. In the beginning, people were a bit skeptical. People were not willing to try the dish. But I think on the 2nd or 3rd week of November, there was a media publication about me about this place. People start to come in, everything started become crazy a bit Cik tolong saya cek keropok. Lepas tu, lepas cek keropok, kalau keropok tak payah, cik tolong saya bungkus ikan Saya dah wrap ikan dia. Ikan dia kat dalam. Tinggal bungkus saja. Daun pisang, cek ada kat dalam juga. I have makcik who helps me probably about 6 days a week. She's my mom's friend's friend. She has a very long experience in the hawker scene also. She used to run a nasi padang store back in Marsiling. How much as in what?
Your dishes price.
Oh, so chicken is 13, fish is 22, the lamb is 23. When I first started, I was building a lot of curiosity by selling it cheap. I was selling it for $8.50. I wasn't earning anything basically. In December when I increased my price to $13 for a plate of chicken, they were like, "Hey, chicken so expensive. Why so expensive?" I will just be honest I say things are expensive. That's the only way that I can explain to them. When I changed my price, the sales didn't drop really. It actually increases my sales. You already gain a lot of people's trust for 1 whole month. That's where I start to realise it's not about the price as long as your quality is good.
Satu ayam, 2 kambing bungkus.
Semua bungkus Okay, 62 bang. I don't think it's too expensive for the effort that we are putting in. You can pay $18 for a plate of nasi lemak in a restaurant, but why can't you pay $13 for a plate of nasi kerabu in a hawker centre? Halo bos. Ayam Tak, kalau kuning. Lain sikit Okay, satu ayam makan
When I first tried Asyraffie's Nasi Kerabu, I was actually pretty surprised. I thought it was going to be blue, but it is not.
People always associate nasi kerabu with the blue colour rice. But when in actual fact, there's different variations of Nasi Kerabu lah. There's blue, there's yellow, there's green. My version of Nasi Kerabu, I put in a lot of aromatics like star anise, cardamom, which is not typically used in the normal Nasi Kerabu. And I also cook it with coconut milk and a bit of turmeric powder lah, basically. So that's where I see my Nasi Kerabu is different than others.
So the taste was pretty refreshing. It's like, I would say, one of the best Nasi Kerabu I've ever had.
You always wanted to be a
No. I've never thought about being a chef. Being a chef was actually a coincidence lah, because after N-levels, I didn't know what to do. So I heard about my friend who went to Shatec after his O-levels. I decided to, like, you know what, just try to go Shatec lah. Just try and see what happens lah from there.
Asyraffie never came to the kitchen even as a young child. Only when he started to pick up this culinary, then he started to be like quite inquisitive. He started asking me, why do you have to put this? What is the reason you put this?
I ended up in fine dining by accident because I applied for a restaurant, but that restaurant, Iggy, sent me to a Japanese kaiseki restaurant, sister restaurant lah. So from there, I saw fine dining. When I saw how detailed they were in the kitchen, how precise they were with everything, that's what kind of attracted me to be in the fine dining scene. Taking extra care of the ingredients, commanding the kitchen, meaning like I want the rice to be plated 1 minute before the chicken is ready and all of that. That's the only way I've been learning how to run a kitchen. So I think I apply everything of that into the hawker center lah.
Traditionally, people don't brine or sous vide their meat before they grill it. So all these things add up to just a lot of work. Nasi Kerabu was his main course. But before he served you that, he was doing some really beautiful renditions of fine dining-like food. So he would have this rempeyek kacang, which is like a cracker, a traditional, Malay cracker, and he would top it with cured hamachi. He also had kuih bakar belaut, which is this little, like a flower-shaped kuih, and he topped it with sea urchin and caviar. And then the meal would progress, and then you would finally get to the Nasi Kerabu. So I think, yeah, that's just something that has defined his career, really.
So when I was in Arang, I had like about 8 to 10 proposals, investors who approached me, telling me like, I'm willing to invest 800,000 with you. I had to turn down because they want to serve alcohol in Arang. But I don't see myself doing that. I have to stick to what I believe in. So basically, I'm not letting go of my values to make it big. I started a hawker stall because I didn't manage to open up a restaurant.
So he did mention to me, hey, why don't I try this hawker food? I said, you really want to do hawker? So what about your fine dining? Well, so far I tried my very best, to get place, to get investor, but it just doesn't match. I said, cooking is your passion. It's okay, go ahead.
Fine dining has taught me a lot of the techniques that I brought in this hawker stall. So one of it is this technique called brining. It's soaking your protein in a salt water solution. So you can add whatever spices you want just to add a bit of aroma or flavor to your whatever protein that you are brining. Soak it in the salt solution for 2 hours and then remove it from the water, wash it, and then let it strain for a bit. And then you can marinate with whatever marination you want. So if I don't brine my chicken and I'm cooking it twice, it will end up very dry. Moving into the hawker center, of course I need to be more economical to everyone. I'm also in the heartland area. The main change I've made from my fine dining to the hawker center, it's the quality of ingredients. The major difference is the quality of rice. I'm still using basmati rice, But the quality of basmati rice that I'm using here is not the premium quality because it doesn't make sense for me to use that kind of quality here in a hawker center lah. So another difference compared to my fine dining days is all the stuff are frozen except for the fish. If you process it properly, right, like people cannot really taste. If you really want to know, right, a lot of restaurants also use frozen stuff also. So from my Nasi Kerabu during my private dining days, the only thing that's changed is the ingredients lah. But the cooking technique, the cooking process, everything is about 90-95% of it is still the same lah. I don't think like doing this in a hawker center decreases the value of my food lah. I think I'm cooking good food. I think how much am I taking in? Is it? I don't really like have a target lah or how much I need to hit per month because I feel like if you don't hit that target, you will start to like cut corners in that sense. For example, like the gula melaka thing. Beginning I was using the brand that I'm using right now, and then in the middle I was like, oh, not making enough profit and maybe I can change to a slightly cheaper one, and then like my food wasn't like really good already, like it wasn't up to standard, and then like, oh okay, no, I cannot already. I need to still stick to the brand that I'm using lah. So which cost me more. I don't think I'm doing enough to maximize my profits. So the few things that I'm thinking of is promoting new dishes on the menu, trying new specials, and maybe expanding my hours lah. We see how it goes lah, basically. Today is a bit slow, I guess. Yeah, I think it's a bit slower. It's slower than normal typical days, normal Wednesdays, normal weekdays. Usually by this time we have orders coming in. Times like this, I don't really feel stressed, I feel angry. I feel angry because I know I can do something but I don't know what I can do. Because I'm still new in this business. You expect it to be like have a lot of people, but it's actually slow. Bring it here.
Recording, okay?
Yep. I market my stuff on Instagram. That's the only platform that I use. We post almost every day.
You want higher? I think from below nicer, right?
Like that can.
Okay, actually, you want me to put?
Use ChatGPT. Guess what time it is? Opening time. Oh, that's not right. Our shutters are up.
Yep.
And let's play around with that one. I think social media marketing is super important, especially during this modern day and age, because everyone's on their phone. I also post when I sell out, which I really do. Just because to let people know that, hey, they finish so fast, they finish. Even on a Tuesday, even on a Wednesday, they finish so fast. Like make people like, hey, I want to come. Letting customers know about my food is always selling out creates that aspect of like scarcity like emotional element to it I think the menu is quite small I only have like 3 items on the menu. Basically, I'm trying to expand the menu. People get bored easily so I try to do specials, I try to do desserts. If I don't expand my menu, people will move on to another stall. Even though you're a hawker, you cannot like just keep doing the same old thing. I'm not just competing with like the hawker scene, with the restaurants and all of that. So basically, I've just added a dessert into the menu. It's called Sri Kaya Tat. This dessert has been with me since my Arang days. Basically, it's a Kaya Tat. Local Singaporeans, they are more willing to accept something that's familiar compared to something foreign. So when I want to like create a new dish, I'll start to R&D I'll watch videos, lots of videos. I read a lot. I'll Google about that particular dish that I want to really create. When it comes to exact measurements of how much the ingredients goes in, it's more of try and error. So if I try the first time, not nice, then I will do it again. Second time, not nice, I give people taste, then I do it again. I weigh it out on a measuring scale, then I agak lor. More of like, later I try already, then like some customers say, oh, a bit too salty, oh, a bit of this. I will ask for feedback lah. The next time I'm going to do it again, then I will reduce the amount of salt lah. So I've recently started dinner service. I started it back in January, just to capitalize on whatever I can do here lah. So after a few months, I realized that I can do more instead of just opening for 4 hours in a day for lunch. So,
Ayam pesik, ikan bakar,
can.
then nasi kuning tambah satu.
I started my dinner service just to maximize profits. That's the whole point of opening up for dinner lah. If I can hit a particular target for lunch, then I will not open for dinner. For now, I think I need to open for both lunch and dinner lah. For my dinner, I'm mostly alone lah. I still don't do everything on my own. But what can you do? Thank you Sorry for the wait
I mean, I don't think moving into a hawker centre is a step down by any means. Some of the best food has always been found at the hawker centre. It's just a pity that it's underappreciated. I don't think it's rare to see young hawkers elevating traditional cuisine.
Thank you. One of my regular also.
But he does stand out from other young hawkers in the sense that he's brought a dish that's particularly difficult and a dish that only a handful of other hawkers are selling.
Here's the thing, you don't really know what's going to happen. Like 5 years, it's very far lah. Yeah, I mean, you can have big dreams and you can plan way ahead, but you never know what's going to happen tomorrow lah. Like even for this hawker store, I didn't even plan to open up a hawker store. My plan was to open up a restaurant, but things didn't work out. But I realized that the day I stopped planning is when things just started to flow lah. I think that's how life should be lah. Like just go with the flow. Things don't work out, pivot, change, adjust. I think my long-term plan for Kerabu would be scaling it up lah to a couple of outlets around Singapore. What's my hope for this place? To keep modern Malay cuisine alive in that sense. By doing this lor.